The past year has proven eventful for the Ummah once again, sadly, with wars and disasters befalling millions of Muslims, who in turn continue to flee their homes in search of relief. Thanks to you, however, Ummah Welfare Trust continues to respond to their calls. Alhamdulillah, the charity has spent a record £27 million this past year, delivering relief to suffering communities across the Middle East, Africa and elsewhere. The charity's emergency programs have continued to focus on the Middle East and primarily Syria, where over £7 million has been spent in the past year delivering assistance to the many victims here. In Syria, trapped communities suffering under targeted sieges have been prioritised. Alhamdulillah, emergency food assistance has been delivered to over 25,000 families in East Aleppo, across rural Damascus and in rural Homs. The charity's 2016 Ramadan program in Syria also targeted besieged areas, bringing food supplies to close to 40,000 families. Regular emergency programs also continue. 10 containers of relief supplies have been sent from the UK, bringing new clothes, hygiene supplies and gifts to thousands of displaced Syrians. Alhamdulillah, to help the overworked hospitals in Syria, over £110,000 worth of medical equipment has been delivered from the UK. Cash programs, meanwhile, have expanded. Over 5,000 widows have received assistance. While today, 2,750 orphans are given monthly support. While a new project for the permanently injured sees over 500 residents receive regular cash assistance. Meanwhile, Ummah Welfare Trust's bread factory in South Idlib continues to feed over 4,000 families daily. While its 6 schools in Ghouta continue to provide free education to over 1,600 children. East of Syria in Iraq, the battle for Mosul in just 6 months has killed or injured over 35,000 civilians. Here, in response to the terrible suffering in the past year, Ummah Welfare Trust has assisted over 10,000 families, delivering emergency food, winter and clothing supplies. Alhamdulillah, displaced widows in northern Iraq continue to receive free vocational training and regular cash assistance. In blessed Yemen, in response to what remains one of the world's worst hunger crises, Ummah Welfare Trust has delivered food provisions to thousands of hungry families in Sana'a and Aden.
قد زانت ذي الدنيا وسموا حبا قصد العليا صاغوا للمجد رسالتهم وأبوا إلا نورا هديا بهم قد زانت ذي الدنيا. To deal with the water shortages in the embattled Ta'iz region, water tankers have delivered water daily to thousands of desperate residents. Work in this forgotten region continues. Relief programs have also continued for the oppressed families in Burma, where thanks to your help, over 100,000 Rohingya Muslims have benefited from food aid and cash grants. Ummah Welfare Trust's madrasas in Arkan, meanwhile,
continue to provide free education to over 3,500 children. And amidst endless war, Afghanistan this past year has witnessed some of the biggest suffering since 2001. Here, Ummah Welfare Trust has delivered emergency programs benefiting over 100,000 families. In response to the huge drought engulfing East Africa, Ummah Welfare Trust has mobilized funds to help hungry families in northern and more recently southern Somalia. 15,000 families have been helped with the charity's water tankers, while around 9,000 desperate families have received food aid. For the seasonal winter program, which spanned 9 countries, Ummah Welfare Trust provided winter supplies in late 2016 to over 56,000 families.
كل أرض ضج فيها نداء الحق صداح.
Alhamdulillah, seasonal programs. For 2016's Ramadan program, over £5 million was spent providing iftar meals to poor families in Africa, Eastern Europe, Asia and the Middle East. And for the days of Dhul Hijjah, over £1.5 million was spent sacrificing over 12,600 animals. Alhamdulillah, well over 500,000 Muslims enjoyed the blessed Udhiyah. School children in the UK have also played a role. This year's Kids for Kids campaign saw 32,000 children raise a record £310,000. The money bought gifts and clothes to displaced children in Gaza, Syria, Iraq, Somalia, Gambia, Sierra Leone and the Philippines. Alongside the emergency work, Ummah Welfare Trust's development programs continue to support thousands of Muslims each year. Nearly £750,000 has been spent providing medical aid and rehabilitation. As part of this, 3 centres of special learning in Pakistan continue to be fully subsidised. While the construction of a new children's trauma centre has been completed in Gaza. Alhamdulillah, the centre today provides free support and counselling to thousands of Gaza's children. Also vital to good health is water, and so Ummah Welfare Trust has spent over £1.5 million this past year providing clean water to communities in Somalia, Gaza, South Asia and the Far East. The ultimate poverty of the believer, however, will always be one of religion. With this in mind, Ummah Welfare Trust has expanded its work related to da'wah, knowledge and tarbiyah. In the past year, nearly 60 masajid have been built, while over 2,200 Hifz students and over 1,400 Islamic teachers have been given monthly support. Thousands of mushafs and Islamic books, meanwhile, have been given out to the young and old. Finally, Ummah Welfare Trust will never leave its obligations to the orphans of this ummah. Thanks to you, over 9,600 today receive monthly support. May Allah accept your contributions and the work of volunteers and staff alike. We ask Allah to forgive us our shortcomings and allow us to continue on this path of helping His needy servants.